Hey, welcome to Prosperity Mindset. And one of the things that I'm going to talk today about is symbolism. And what I find intriguing about symbolism is that as you start working through your prosperity mindset and you start bringing in um, just new ideas and practices, and it's really that it's the practices and symbolism. The reason I like symbolism is because it is the shape of meaning. And as you move forward in prosperity mindset, right? Prosperity is the ability to magnify. But when we look at that, how can you define it? How do you define prosperity mindset, right? We know that we want to say, here's the dot in which I want to magnify from. And learning what that dot is a journey. And that's a journey that requires symbolism. And you can't get to symbolism until you've been kind of working with all of your thoughts and ideas and your learning, and you start sculpting them into wisdom. And when I look at prosperity of how will you know, it is when you walk through a moment and you realize the symbolism, right? The shape of meaning. And then you go, wow, the opposition of the past is no longer present. It is that something has released itself from within you, right? So the opposition of the past is no longer present. And symbolism is that shape of meaning. And what we start to see and feel and smell and embody and respect and we forgive, right, is that we can hold dear all of these small pieces of movement. And all of these small pieces of movement are that we start to see a model for ourselves. We start to see that we've started classifying things differently. That's why so many of you during this time do what I call scrubbing, right? Where you start really organizing and you start to organize your closet and you start to organize your paper. You start to look at your email. Is because suddenly now you're starting to do this deciphering. And the deciphering is not just the classification of something, but it's the diagnosis that you start to diagnose this thing isn't working for me. You start to give yourself the affirmation and the permission to go, yeah, I don't actually need all this stuff. Or that you start to no longer see the shadow of what your life could look like, that you've now taken enough steps and moved it forward in these small little campgrounds of your life, right? So, like, you'll take on one section of your life. That might be fitness, that might be getting your book ready, that might be doing, reorganizing just in general, right? Finding a way, hiring new staff. There's a million things, but what happens in prosperity mindset is that you get meaning and you get measure, right? Suddenly your closet gets better. Suddenly your waistline gets different. Suddenly it's not just that you've been able to diagnose it, but you've been able to go into it, and you've been able to go into it without anger or all of these hurtful feelings, that you can come in and shape the meaning. And that's what symbolism is, right? It brings shape to meaning. So a clean house maybe becomes a symbol of something for you. And that you can again start to what's the word I'm looking for? You start to build a new portraiture. And that new portraiture is you in this new life and you moving forward without the opposition of the past. And that means that you've healed it, you've secured it, you're moving forward. And what happens when you get to that point of symbolism is you can really respect the journey that you've been on. And that's the part where if you're in that right now, I'm just going to give you a big Yahoo, because it's so fun. It's so fun to say, I've started putting in some models that are working for me. And it is that act of small task, small task, small task that really gets you through that part. So thank you again for it is not without effort to become you. And it is not without effort to become you that has solved some of this garbage from your past, or that you've deciphered some things. And especially if you've had a very busy life. And deciphering is time consuming. It's time consuming. So thank you. Thank you for consistently coming forward to your highest self. Thank you for being willing to be patient and to respect your process. All that little bitty fixing isn't because you're doing anything other than trying to be true, trying to be moving in your own existence with integrity and grace. And that's a powerful goal. Don't underestimate the power of that nugget of being willing to be present enough in your existing life. And it's a lot easier to be present when you're not carrying the opposition of the past. So being present with integrity and grace and putting together these other things. And what'll happen is you'll start to realize a lot of these metaphors that you may have heard in the past that make a lot more sense now. And one of those is right, something as simple as love thyself. And that is capital S self, right? What is in your highest good? And your highest good is to serve you first. And that to do serve you first as you would you as your own child, that you are in charge of that with integrity and grace and putting that together. So thank you very much for taking all these small steps, because it's meaningful, it's important, and you're important. And I am 100% never tired of watching you grow. So thank you so much for the work that you're doing, and I will see you in class. Bye.